there be light, and there was light. Okay, so we are now continuing on the characteristics of the gods of Genesis, and of course we are talking about King James Version of the Holy Bible. So if you're joining us for the first time, this is what we do here. We have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise, of course. Now I say that, but I have done the word formed and have found some really interesting functions or characteristics of the God who formed. For instance, we had drome, that I would not have thought something seeming so modern, of modern technology. I would not have imagined that there was a connection with the word drome and formed. So there we are. And of course, can we really argue that they are not connected? No, they are, because everything has in it, or whatever it contains, that is what it is. And that whatever it is makes it perfectly what it is. The word perfect is what I'm trying to grasp on, because it equals 10. Okay, so but what I didn't do was to really get the numerical value for the word formed itself. So we didn't really get a numerical value for the God who formed. And so the God who formed, of course, is 7. So the word formed right here, let's just do this. And if you're new to numerology, I have got a very, I would say, a very good introduction to numerology, where I explain how we come across our own template, which is based on, of course, it's numerology, but it's the sacrifice template. And on that template, it's devised around the Last Supper of Christ, of course, before the crucifixion. So there is a lot of information on there. So it's called An Introduction to Crimey Queen's new YouTube channel. So you can fill that in and it will come up. So I also have other templates on numerology, but I thought that that was really a concise one. It lets you know a little bit about myself and how I come to doing what I do. Okay. So there we are. Let's see. I've got I think if I change this round, okay. So the word formed, of course, is 6, 6, 9, 4, 5, 4. And when we add this up, so for instance, this is, I might have done this, so this is 15, 20, 26, that would be 30, 34. So 34 is 7. Well, on my last presentation on the God who formed, so it is really termed, or it's headed more on the God who formed, and it ends with G. So on that, you will notice, if you watch that video, that the number 7 is reflected quite a lot in that presentation. So this is when we say we are in flow, because of course we hadn't done the numerical value, which equals 7, but we saw number 7 was showing up quite a lot, especially when we did, I think, the word more, and we broke those down. So we can see that the two sets of gods showed up there, because initially I thought there were 2 gods who in Genesis. I thought, well, it had to be 2 gods. After, of course, I come to understand that it couldn't just be one God, according to what I was reading. And then when I saw it, okay, it's 2 gods, which I did do a few presentation on the 2 gods of Genesis. You can watch that as well. But I hadn't noticed that those 2 gods, in essence, which I would say they perhaps work in pairs. And we saw that the word 7 as well, S-E-V-E-N, was very pinnacle, in that in the middle of it was Mother Eve, Mother Eve is right there. So that was saying there are 2 sets of 7, because Mother Eve is in everything. This is what Father Adam told us when he was given his wife, which was an Eve as well. So his wife was Eve, and he named her Eve because she was the mother of all living. The word was also equals 7. This is where we were talking about that the word was equals 7. Mother Eve has always asked us to look at the first and last letter. So we see SN here, which almost reminds me of the word sin. That's what comes to mind. But here we have, if we add the numerical values, which is 1 and 5, this would give us 6. And there we could see that 6 as the number of man, which I talked about on that last presentation as well, because I was talking about 6 is sex. And of course, I did go on a bit. Okay, all right. So now we have 5, 4, 5. When we add this together, of course, is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. This is how Mother Eve comes to 5. Okay, and of course, adding these together, 6 plus 5 is 11. So 11 is where it coincides again. This coincides beautifully with the last presentation, where we see about God created everything, and on the 7th day he ended his works. So created, the word created is also synonymous with the word reacted, because they are really the same. It's just the words have been turned a bit, and so we could see that to react is really create. Every time we are reacting, we are creating. So that's why we are told it's very important that we know how to react or not react, whichever we choose to. And because every time we react, depending how we are reacting, we are creating. So if we react to something negative in a sense of being angry or expressing, it's not to say you shouldn't express anger, but everything we react to, we are giving more life to it. That way we are creating more of it. So they are really two sides of the same coin. Okay, so back to the word formed, we see it is 7. I'm going to keep this one really short because I have done 2 presentations on formed. I didn't think it was going to be so in-depth. It is wonderful. It's always good to get the essence of knowledge and intuition, which is given to us through Mother Eve. It's beautiful. So for this, we say thank you, Mother Eve. Okay, now of course I'm going to end this presentation, and do join me again where we look at the word. We're going to look at the word divided, although we could perhaps we should do the word saw, which I already have covered in the word formed. In fact, I think I'm just going to do it on here. I'm just going to do the word saw right here before I end this, because the 2 coincide very well with the word formed, in that I had already expressed the word 7 as when and God saw. In the word was, in the beginning God created the heavens. I'm looking for where the word, for instance, when Mother Eve said, let there be light, and there was light. This is the first spell. So it's the word was, and we see from that word was, then everything else became so. Yes. So Mother Eve said, let there be light, and there was light. So the word was, of course, backward, because there we see how things became backward. So it was so. This is it here. So this is the thing about the spell was really implicit at that stage, because I have done again. I would urge that you check my videos on Let There Be Light, and there was light, and you will see the beauty of wisdom that has been seeped through this spell, which is Mother Eve. Mother Eve is okay for us to say it was a spell. Let there be light. And the numerical values is what really gives us the deep juice of the whole spell. So we see here the word as I say, comes into play here, which is 1, 1. Let's do this. 1, 1. And this is 5. So, of course, 5 plus 11 is, or we could say 2, plus 2 is 7. And there, after, I think that was the first that was written, and then everything, and God saw it was good. So God was looking from another side. So there was light, but then the God was saying or reacting from another position than to say God saw. Mother Eve was, and God saw. Okay, so that's the God who saw, the God who was soaring, because you could see the 7 is like a saw itself as well. Okay, so and it's no wonder in our creation, or the Genesis that we have been given, we could say that, or the father of all nations, Abraham, his wife Sarah, of course, that those 2 letters became pinnacle in the word Sarah, S-A, and it's like here, S-A. So it was as in the beginning there were 12. We have seen how the number 12 has showed up quite a lot as well. Okay, so this is why I'm saying I am just going to keep this together. The God who saw, had in him a W here. So we have seen the W here. The W, of course, as I used to say, this is the breast. This is money. It is maturity. It is the nurturing aspect. It is it is breast. It is the buttocks. It is the lips, the 2 lips. It is the nostrils, if you like. It is everything that denotes balance as well, but everything that is nurturing, giving, feeding. And that was another word that I didn't include in the word formed as well, not meaning to go back and forth, but the word fed was also in the word formed. Yes, so that meant there was an aspect of man having to eat, and that he would be fed. So basically, again, when we learn about all the eating of the apple, and of course it is seen to be a specific fruit, but then we also hear that God, everything God did, he saw it was good. He saw it. And the word it is 9 2, which would be like say 9/11. We could say it like this. This is where 9/11 is coming into play as well. So everything God did, he saw it. He saw it. So 11 would be the it, because when we add this together, 11, 2 plus 9 is 11. So everything God did, he saw it. And it was good. Okay, he saw it was good. Was, and good is 5. The word good is 4, 6, 6, 7. Adding this together, this is 10, 16. This would be 20. 16, 23. 23 is good. Like we have here on the back, 23 is good. We have 23. Waters is good. Okay, so and everything God did, he saw it was good. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And there we see that how God too saw Eve in everything, because Eve, 4, 5, 4 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. So God saw everything, and everything, the word everything has Eve in it. So basically that Eve, the mother of all living, was good in everything. So if you're wondering why Eve really was not the one given the command not to eat of the fruit, then you understand, because Eve too knew that she was in everything, and when she saw the fruit, she saw it was good. That just like it is said, God saw that it was good. So Eve saw the fruit was good for food. It was good. So good is 5. You can only see after what you are. You can only see what you perceive, what you perceive is what you see. So basically, Eve was seeing everything good. She was seeing everything beautiful. And this is where Mother Eve is asking us to come back to this place to get an insight and knowledge of this goodness, of this beauty, and to understand it, to understand the W. So when we see something, we can understand that it was good. Now, I used to think as well, to say that something was good, then the opposite to good is bad. If you see everything good, it's just good. Even when something, it may sound a little bit, this is a statement I'm going to really alter with caution to some extent. But what I do know, for instance, that a lot of things that I had felt was bad, now it's good. So that meant, did it stop being good at one point? Because the word was has also as in it. So that means it has always been good. Okay, so I think that is really encapsulating the word saw as well, because saw has the W in it. Having the W is really having that number 3. So the number 3 is that happy symbol, we could say. It's 3 and it dances around, because when you are double, you can do things. So you dance around, you become M, you become 3, you become W, and then you form yourself a beautiful flower. Okay, so that is the saw. Okay, and we should have, and God saw what he formed. I don't know how I'm going to term this yet, but the God of formed and the God of saw together. See, yeah, we can see how they marry together, because of course in the word W, the word saw has W in it, and the word formed has the M, which also has the characteristics. So the two gods are formed and saw. They have something very much in common. It's the W. Now that's another thing we probably will do afterwards, is see, compare the characteristics of the gods and see how they might have worked together. So the God who formed and the God, because you can imagine a God is forming something, another one is soaring, you know. Okay, he's saying, yeah, I formed this, and the other one is soaring. They might have got into some great arguments on that too. Okay, hence why there is two sets of 7 gods. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you found this fun. If you like this presentation or any part of this presentation, give us a thumbs up, of course. And if you be really good to hear your comments as well. Okay, thank you. And do share. Yes. Anything else? Spill over with love and let there be light, and there was light.